Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for stopping by for episode 46 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. A huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias and Chow. Thank you so much for your generous support. And also, if you're watching live on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the show. All right, guys, so Inter Miami finally win. We win a match. The winless streak is over. What do you guys think?
I think it's preseason. I think it's not something that we should go crazy about. That's literally what we were saying when they lost, or at least I was not panicked, not excited, just cool. They seem to be gelling together. We're obviously the folks in Hong Kong were a little disappointed, as we always are when Messi doesn't play, but fun game overall. Very fun. We kind of had a preseason game that you kind of thought that the other ones were going to go the same way, right? This is exactly how we kind of expected it, and we did it against the Hong Kong All-Stars, and it was a fun game. Very fun. Very high presses to our back line. So it was a little more of the same stuff in that sense. Had a lot of attacks, but slow building attacks. Nothing ever. No home runs. Just we steal it. We take it back. And score on them. But it wasn't. It was very fun all around.
Yeah, it was. It was obviously fun to watch. Finally got the win, but Jose, you stole the words out of my mouth. It's still preseason. It's nice. It's a relief, I think, that was taken off, but at the end of the day, it's still preseason. I think we saw a lot of things that we wanted to see in the last few ones. We saw a few different players start, a few different players come in that we really hadn't seen before, in the likes of Sunderland, Robert Taylor. It seemed like they meshed well with the starting lineup today. One big key thing that we should take out of this is that Tata changed up the lineup a little, or the starting formation. He used a 4-3-3. He even said it after the match that it seems like the players were a little bit more comfortable in this matchup. So I think that's very key going forward. And it's a formation we used a lot last season. So maybe he sees something that wasn't right, obviously, that we all saw. But yeah, like Jose said, the defense was still a little shaky. We did see a little bit of Noah Allen continuing his progression, something that we've been talking about the last couple matches, except today he was playing left back. So we saw a lot of nice little pieces coming together today, and just it was nice to see something other than our quartet, our big four. It's nice to see these young guys play and get some playing time and actually see something good. See some good scoring and good ball movement overall. So it was fun. It's a shame that Messi didn't play. Hong Kong fans were very upset over it. We saw a lot of videos of people kicking in Messi's head in the posters and all that. But it's understandable. They pay a lot of money to go see it, but it's something you have to understand when you're watching these preseason games, that all the stars might not play. At the end of the day, it is still a preseason matchup. So it was a fun match, though. It was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, my takeaway, I have pros and cons. The good thing is, for the overall health of the club, it's nice to see players that are part of the depth and part of this organization show up and play well. So that's good to see some guys coming along. However, it's kind of not great that we're seeing better play without those four big names on the team. We want to be able to see amazing results when those four guys are on there. These guys do have more playing time together, so it makes sense that they'd be a little more comfortable with each other. But yeah, we want to see the results with the mainstays on this club. I kind of have the opinion of, man, I'm not happy with the way that they've planned this preseason tour. Maybe they should have left out the Saudi teams and just done the first match that they did. The second match with FC Dallas was fine, and then maybe just done this Asia tour, which is maybe some better competition for them getting geared up. so that they can kind of get their legs underneath them and things like that. Also, the next match against Kobe, that's a team that's also in preseason. So these are matches that will probably fare better for them and would probably look better for the brand if they actually showed up with their players and put up a good showing against these types of teams, as opposed to going to Saudi, getting our faces kicked in, and then going to these types of teams and not having your best players at all, which is kind of what all these matches were marketed as, is to have these big players who never go to East Asia and have them out there on that stage. So that's my big takeaways. I think that they've kind of fumbled the way that they've planned this preseason tour, but it is a silver lining that we are seeing the depth pieces come together and show out a little bit.
Yeah, and this was, at least in my opinion, probably the weakest opposition that we faced. So I'm not surprised that whoever was on the pitch succeeded. I think if our big four were on the pitch and healthy, which I think is a big component here that's not really being spoken by a lot of people, but these guys have picked up knocks, which is why they were not played today, according to that data. But whoever was on the pitch, I think they were gonna succeed. It was nice to see the ways in which we succeeded. We had a corner kick goal, which, I mean, I can probably count on my hand how many times we scored off a set piece last year. Robert Taylor, great goal. Jose's thrilled about it. Can't wait to talk about it. We had Sunderland score a really nice goal in maybe one of the best like interplay exchanges that we've seen all preseason between who was the first person that passed to Campana? Was it Sailor to Campana to Sunderland?
No, I think it was Campana, Sailor, Sunderland, right? Or is that
yeah.
That's what it was.
Right. That's right. It was Campana to Sailor. Yeah. So that entire play was like beautiful. And then Campana scoring just, makes my heart sing. So can't complain there. But at the same time, we saw when Hong Kong scored, that was like a very poor goal to allow. I don't know if the team maybe froze up because they thought that there was a handball involved. But at the end of the day, like, play to the whistle. You got to just like get on the guy, especially when he's in the box. He was so close to the 6-yard line or the 6-yard box already. Just get on him, get in front of him, put a body on him. Just silly little things that keep coming up. But again, kind of like what we've all been saying, that this is the preseason. This is the time to work through these things. But overall, how could you not be happy with a 4-1 result after we've been like really having a rough go during this preseason? So it was nice to finally just have some relief. It was nice to wake up in the morning and not wake up to a defeat, like just an awful result. It was nice to wake up and be like, oh, cool, we won 4-1.
Could you imagine?
Did you guys kind of squint like when you first opened your phone to check the score? Did you kind of like go like, because I did.
Yeah.
And I saw the 4-1, I was like,
I checked on Twitter and I realized that if I open Twitter and it's just not blowing up with a bunch of stuff about Inter Miami being terrible, that odds are we was safe, then we won the match. And then I had to scroll a little bit before I saw the 4-1 result. So I was like, okay, crisis averted.
You work as in you lose to these guys. You're like, oh my god, another loss, Jesus. But then once I saw that we won handily, I was like, it's gonna be a great watch. I was super excited to watch, and I was sending you guys my clip notes throughout the thing. I was like, bam, weekend observations, boom, boom, doing just a bunch of one-liners. I wrote them down, so I can't wait to tell you guys again. No Allen improving. Period. Sunderland midfield, very fun to watch. There you go. That's what I thought. Sunderland in the midfield, very fun to watch. I'm going to tell you, his goal, it was a matter of time, because as you were watching, he seemed to always be in the right place at the right time, constantly getting into the action, but not overbearing, not in people's way or anything, just particularly seemed to just flow with the offense always. So I was like, when he scored, I was like, I mean, it makes sense. He actually had a few other opportunities.
He had two that he sailed.
That we talked about.
Yeah, he had two that he sailed that they were clear shots. They were pretty good looks. So he was very close on a few different times. But something that was fun about Sunderland that actually Robert Taylor did a lot of too, which we'll talk about him in a little bit, is that they were moving the ball up. It was constant. It was a constant attack by these two guys, which is something that we haven't seen in the first few matches from Messi, Suarez, and all that, which is very weird. But they were moving the ball up a lot. They were dribbling around a lot. They really were on the attack instead of kind of sitting back, passing around back and forth, and kind of waiting for the perfect opportunity. They were really pushing the ball up. So that was a difference of something that we saw today that we didn't see in the last few matches, and it made it more exciting, and it ended up working out actually as well. So that was one key thing that I noticed from Sunderland and from Robert Taylor. They were both really on the attack today.
He was great at distributing. Robert Taylor was very good at distributing. All right, backhanded compliment. He was very good at distributing. If he didn't shoot every single, I felt like whenever he got the ball, it was either going to be a very good pass or just a shot, and let's see what happens. Just let it go. Just let it fly.
We saw what happened, baby.
No, one of those sides was beautiful.
It, like
but the one before that, but did you notice the one before that? It hit the guy in front of him right in the stomach. And, oh, it's like, dude, you're not gonna shoot it right through him. I don't understand.
But, hey, by hook or by crook, maybe he just knocks a guy out and clear path.
But no, I mean, it was he was very fun to watch, and he did well today. He played very well within the offense. He wasn't trying to do too much. Maybe sometimes he had to, right? Because it's not like the big four weren't there playing with him. So he was like, it's goal time. It's Robert Taylor time, baby. You're going to put that on a video, aren't you?
Oh, it's Robert Taylor time. And to snip that.
Oh. Repeat.
It's Robert Taylor time, baby. Every time you score a goal from now on.
The thing is, I do it to myself.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the 4 at the back compared to the 5/3 at the back that we've seen?
So my opinion on that is that we saw little to no difference on the defending that was happening, and we saw a huge difference in the attack.
Exactly.
If that's going to be the case, then I'd rather have the extra attacker up there to make something happen. If we're not risking any defense from changing this formation from only having 4 in the back, I don't see a big deal with doing it. I think it worked out well. And I agree with Tata. They look more comfortable. They look more comfortable like last season, which they played in that formation a lot. I don't know. I think Tata has to take a hard look going forward into keeping this formation.
That's a crazy.
With Robert Taylor starting at left wing.
Which I'll just put as a crazy stat. Hong Kong is ranked 150 in the world in the football rankings. But
their league?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if he meant. I think he said
just the national team itself are ranked 150th in the FIFA rankings.
Well, remember this was the league all stars, so
yeah. I mean, so Robert Taylor did do well. He did do well within the offense. Another person that did very well was Noah Allen. But what I was going to tell you, Chris, the only thing about the 4-3-3 that I don't know if it would work the same with Jordi Alba, because they weren't really pushing the ball up. If we're, no Allen wasn't really going on through the sides and stuff like that, and Yellen rarely had that as well. That's the only drawback to that formation. You're kind of saying to your wing backs, don't go up as much. Although Alba, when he went in there, he still went up. He was like, all right, I'm not playing defense. Let's go. So yeah, but you didn't see Noah Allen doing that too many times, and you didn't see Yellen as often. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
But that's criticism that we have to have on Tata, is that he wants to put a formation that he doesn't have the squad to really execute that formation. That's the main issue. Jordi Alba's great. He's good at what he does, but we don't have another Jordi Alba on the other side. And even if we did, vacating those wing backs and leaving the center backs that we have on an island, it spells disaster. So having 4 constantly in the back it's the safest way to go for us, just because of how inconsistent our players are in the back end. So as a whole, it makes more sense for this, but it is a waste of Jordi Alba's abilities to have him as a full back the entire time and not crash forward. I think that's why they envisioned Gressel as a great signing because they figured that he could mirror Alba on the other side. But the lack of movement on center back in the market and any kind of trade or anything has been disastrous for I think for the plan of moving forward with that formation. If they do have to go to a 4-3-3 moving forward, it's a failure on somebody, whether it's a failure on Tata not telling the front office what he needs, or the front office just failing to get Tata what he requested. So there's a failure at some point if they have to go to a 4-3-3, because the signings that they've made don't make sense for a 4-3-3.
Now,
Also, I think what helps too is that our better center mids on the team, which is Gregory, Busquets, Gressel, they're very defensive as well. They're very good in the defensive piece. So I think using 4 in the back, and if Jordi needs to climb up, we have those as someone could stay back as kind of a safety blanket for these guys, so we could properly run the offense that we want. So I just think that might be an extra little wrinkle that will be added into the season or to the regular season formation.
the thing also with that back line is that it continued struggling today. Chris, you're right about him. This guy is just I don't know what's up with him, but there's something wrong with him. He's not ready to go for Salt Lake for the MLS season. I'm very concerned about him. That's the thing, right? With the better questions are for panic or not panic, or not to to be even keel about analyzing these games properly. Who is someone that we already know is not a good fit? Christoph doesn't look like a good fit at all. It is what it is. He's too slow. It's not like he anticipates things very often. Noah Allen, I'm going to tell you right now, he was anticipating passes left and right. Today, last game, the last few games, he's been doing very well with that, and it helps because it doesn't leave us kind of on our heels. At least somebody's trying to pick off some of these long through passes, and he's doing well with that. But the backline was struggling terribly. When every time these folks were pressing our backline, we can't help but turn it over. We just can't help it. And we don't. It's not like when Busquets is not there trying to help and alleviate it. What ends up happening is that these guys are just like they fumble completely. They were as far back as the back line of where the goaltenders were, and it was like, I don't know what's happening, but this is not going to end well. It never looked. I was never comfortable whenever they had the ball. Never.
But, like you said, Jose, I think something that helped Noah Allen was two things. He's been playing center back since the preseason started. He's been getting a lot of different looks that might be helping his game at left back as well. And then you said it, he wasn't climbing up as much as what we're used to seeing our left back do. So maybe Tata said, hey, relax, stay back, kind of play what you're used to playing, play what you're good at. We all don't like him at attack. We've seen him. His touches are horrible. His passing isn't great. So he stayed back and he settled in. He looked more comfortable. So those two things might have helped him a lot today, playing left back.
They asked him to basically just do your job. And then on top of that, you look at the turnovers in the midfield were constant. That's the thing. We liked Gressel, right? We like who else did we have in the beginning of the game that started?
Sunderland and Gregory,
Right. So Sunderland starting?
Yeah, he started.
Okay. So I don't know what it was. Sunderland definitely. I know there's a few passes that he made that it was just like, which is completely normal, right? When he's trying to get into the offense, he had a lot of turnovers in that game. And it was not just him. The whole midfield just had a lot of turnovers. And when we play MLS, man, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to make us turn it over because, I mean, they don't want to play. They don't want the ball to get to Messi and our front, and Luis Suarez of the world. They don't want that. So the more we give the ball up in the back line and the midfield, we're not gonna get to glory like we want the 4 trophies.
And I imagine that's how most teams will play against us, is looking to spring a counterattack against us on a quick turnover, because that's when we're most exploitable. If we have these fullbacks like playing up and we do a quick turnover in the midfield or in defense, even worse, and then we're just screwed. To an extent, I think that's where Kamal Miller was so good for us, is he was more comfortable in possession and kind of beating the press when we were being pressed on our defensive line. He was really good at sort of dribbling around or just making a nice key pass to get out of pressure. And yeah, I have just so little faith right now in Kristoff. Toto, I have some faith, but really, like, I just don't want any of them touching the ball as much as possible. Like, I just want them to get it out from under their feet, even if they have to hoof it up the field. Just because, yeah, like they don't give you confidence right now when they're trying to beat the press. Although if they were able to, we would be able to mount a pretty good quick attack without the defense being set, because that's what the opposition leaves themselves open to when they're pressing. Is if we beat it, then they're on their heels. So it's something that they're going to have to work on, because obviously right now it is a weakness. So teams will circle that and say, hey, press them, because I don't know, 30% of the time they're going to turn over and you're going to have a fantastic chance. And that's way too high a number.
We have a lot of young guys too, right? So when they're going to be pressing our young guys, and they're going to just, it is what it is. They're going to make mistakes until one day they don't, right? Hopefully that's what we're betting on. We're like, let's just put these guys out there as much as possible, because they have the upside. You know what I'm saying? And they have the upside. You could tell a lot of these young guys are really Sunderland. Like the commenter said, he had like 4 chances in front of goal. Yeah, because he was constantly putting himself in the right position, which a lot of times last year, I felt like we were just like behind the defender. There was no opportunity to get the ball to these guys. And man, it was just the ball was finding his foot very nicely in front of goal. There was some that I wish I was like, man, I really wish he would have put it back in the net, because it was 4-1, but it could have been way worse. It could have been way worse with some of these tries. That pass that Gressel made to Campana from the right wing, he just, my God, he whipped it over it just hit him in the head. He had no choice but to hit it. It just, bam, just hit him in the head. And it's such a shame that Campana didn't go like, I don't understand how he didn't score. It was so perfect.
It was not just the pass.
Way easier from our seats, right? Way easier from our seats from us to say it. But I'm going to tell you right now, that was such a beautiful pass. I just felt bad for Gressel.
But the pass was beautiful. But did you see the way that he had to run to get to that ball? He wasn't in the easiest position to get to that ball. He had the hustle to get to that ball. He had like a 30-yard sprint that he outran the nearest defender to get to that ball. And then in the same motion, he got that pass off. It was honestly, it was spectacular. If Campana could have finished that thing, that's like an ESPN top 10 play, because it's just fantastic.
It's the stuff that we live for. Am I right, Julio? Like Mbappe?
Absolutely.
Injected in Julio's veins.
That's right. God, if he would have had 2, imagine.
God forbid a hat trick, right?
One day, one Inter Miami player will score a hat trick. That'd be nice. Just something to talk about.
We keep predicting it. It'll happen, right?
I think
How many games are there? 50-something?
I think I stopped predicting hat tricks.
It's over.
You've just stuck with the outlandish scorelines.
Speaking of
I was close. I was close last match. It was just the wrong. It was flipped backwards.
David Ruiz, what's our post check, Chris?
I think he was just a person today. He didn't play bad. He didn't play great. But I mean, after 4 straight games, 3 straight games, having very good to very good games. I mean, it's expected. But he was just another guy out there today. He wasn't anything great, you know. I didn't see a lot of flashes from him, honestly.
I thought the way he was playing was just like holding back almost, you know, like he was trying to like play within the offense so much, where he was just like, it could be also Sunderland might have gotten in his way a little bit. So that kind of went through my head. I was like, man, maybe, or also Robert Taylor was ball hogging on the left side, so it never got to the right side, because every time Robert Taylor got it, he's like, hey, we're gonna score on this side. I'm not giving it to that guy. Could be.
He was bored. Allow it.
It was also it was a different position than he's been playing the last few games too. So that could have made a difference as well. Just being asked to do different things. Even though we saw him last year, he started right wing tonight, yesterday, whenever the game was. He started right wing, right? Right? Yes, no?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
no?
he started right wing, yeah.
Yeah, which is what we saw him play that a lot last season.
It was Ruiz, then it was Capapi, and then it was
every platform that you check with the starting lineup has it set in a different way, so it's very hard to say. Like the app that I'm looking at right now has him as a center forward behind Campana.
I saw Robert Taylor as a center forward. So I don't know.
Well, because Inter Miami tweeted out or whatever, put on Instagram one formation, and on the live stream there was actually a different formation. So I don't really know
You
what
know
they
that
started with.
that's Tata scheming. He wants to trick him. He's like, you're never gonna know what I'm gonna do. I don't think
The
he knows.
misinformation,
he
the
sends- he
misinformation
sends-
coming out of Miami.
Yeah, he sends the orders to the social media team. Just, you guys tweet out this. You guys post that. You guys send a video of this.
I think he has a snitch inside the building. He's trying to figure out who it is. That's what he's studying out random things. Let's see where we're getting our information. Let's find out.
I love it. I love the idea of Tata playing 4D chess like that in the preseason against Hong Kong.
It's his preseason too. He has to start tinkering. What he does best. Hey, another thing I want to talk about when we were talking about the defense. I know Jose hates defense, so I'm sorry we're going back to defense. But
We've done nothing but talk about defense, and I've also started a lot of it, which is incredible. Today we're talking about defense, boring. We're talking about Robert Taylor. I'm gonna cut my veins at this point. It's like I don't know what's the next thing. Oh, we're gonna talk about. Guess what? We can't talk about how great Calendar is. How about that? In play.
Can I talk? Can I talk now? Okay, thank you. I want to bring up Freire. We didn't see him again. Freire, game number 3 without him. So there's been, I don't know if it's a rumor. I tried looking for injury reports. I don't know if you all have seen anything that Freire might be dealing with a lingering injury. I don't know if any of the commenters have seen that. Just want to throw it out there because it is interesting. It's the 3rd game that we've had him, and we still haven't seen him. But he traveled with the team, I think. So it makes it a little weird.
Someone either tweeted at us or in the comments of one of the more recent videos. I can't remember. I think it was on X. They mentioned to us that like a few days after we announced his signing, that his previous team tweeted out or sent out a post saying that he was being evaluated for some sort of injury. I'll try to find it. Come back to me.
Interesting. I don't know if they don't do physicals on these guys when they get them. But yeah, that's interesting because I would love to see how he deals with all the issues that we were just talking about, that Christoph and Toto have been dealing with. I'm very curious. Yeah, I'm very curious if he's similar to Kamal Miller as far as possession and passing goes, or what. I mean, we want to see a difference. So I'm hoping he's the one, but he's injured apparently. So
yeah, the lack of a plan in replacing Kamal Miller when you trade him away, it's more and more glaring. And they have to have another plan because they also traded McVay now. So what are we doing? Maybe do they love what they're seeing out of Noah Allen at center back and they think that's good enough to roll? Or
I don't know. Why are they collecting all this extra money, the extra slot? I don't know. Maybe they have a big master plan that we don't know about, but it's not looking good coming up. We're what's today's date? The 4th. We're 3 weeks away from the opener, or less than 3 weeks now, and no plan at center back. That's scary.
It's more and more looking like this is our team. That's what it's more and more looking like.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful for. The thing is, like, they're not making, like, they're not clearing space for future moves, like for next season or something like that. These guys are in win now mode. They're not waiting for next season. They need to improve this team now. This is the whole now. You got to fix it now. So I don't see it. I don't see what the plan is, and that's
they traded. They've been. The thing is that it's all screamed like they're trying to trade for international spots. They're trying to trade for GAM money, right? They've been doing different things, and it's felt like they were trying to like create space for something, or and maybe they were hoping to get a Medina. Maybe it's not that they didn't try. They tried to get Medina. He's a midfielder, though. Obviously, not where we want, but like. Maybe they see something different on the pitch than we're seeing.
Yeah, they traded for an international spot. That was the McVay trade. They opened up a spot when they traded McVay, but there's nothing in the pipeline unless they randomly sign somebody without anybody hearing anything about it, or there's nothing in the tea leaves. It's going to be Filled by who?
Yeah, I mean, we've harped on it for weeks now. Like, there's just no one, and there's no one that gives you confidence in that back line. The fact that we've touted Noah Allen as our best center back on multiple occasions this preseason is very telling.
I wouldn't say that. I would say Toto still is. Right? I would
Yes.
still give him the nod.
Yes,
He's
but
been
when we're
having a
playing-
rough game, but you know,
Playing three at the back, that's not enough of the players to have confidence in.
no. I mean, maybe they just I don't know. Like I do like Toto though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Toto. I don't like Christoph though. That's the scary part because I feel like he's getting the most minutes back there, so, which is a little unnerving.
Yeah, Toto's been since we've got him last season, he was fine. This preseason, he's looked a little wild, more than usual. But I mean, he's very solid. He does these crazy fouls every once in a while. Last match he turned the ball over a lot, but I mean he's fine. He's the best guy we got. We can't. I wouldn't complain about him. It's definitely Christoph and Noah Allen are.
And it's not saying much either. He's our best guy. That's not really saying much, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I thought Kamal Miller was. Even when he was with Toto last year, I thought he was better.
Yeah, that Kamal Miller trade was jarring. I think that it shocked everyone when it happened, but it kind of left us like, ooh, what are they up to? We're thinking they must have somebody in mind to really replace Kamal Miller with. And then nothing ever happened. And that looks bad. As an organization, that looks bad.
Yeah, it just seems very short-sighted.
Or money, or maybe we have the wrong idea. Maybe it's not for anything in particular. Maybe it's just literally to save money or whatever the case may be. That could very well be it too.
It could be. It just leaves like the long-term vision needs to be the money that's going to be gained by being successful this season too. So to like some extent, if you advance further in these competitions, there's like a larger net gain to be had. So I mean, you might be right. I mean, his contract may have been higher than what they thought they could get with another defender, but they have Freire, and we haven't seen him, and he may be injured, he may not. Like, we don't really know. So to me, like, that's not good enough.
Arroyo also. That was also an interesting.
I agree with that. Yeah, Arroyo helped a lot on defense. But now we got Gregory back, right? So that kind of takes the place of Arroyo a little bit.
Gregory,
as well.
Gressel, they have so many. Have so many midfielders that one hurt less. He was a nice stable force in the midfield, but that's the one spot that I was like, okay, that's fine. There's definitely other pieces that can fill that void, but to continuously purge center backs and not have anything in the replacement end, that's something that's crazy. And saw a commenter, Tony Axe, wrote, maybe they're saving money for the summer transfer window, but again, I don't see this team waiting too long to fill these holes. I think that they can't start off. I mean, they do have the talent to make a comeback. We saw that at the end of last season that they were able to turn it up late, but I think that they want to start the season off on the right foot and go gangbusters the rest of the way. So I don't know if that's the best plan, if that's what they're planning to do, but it's disappointing. And I can't shake it. I can't shake that disappointment, and it's making me uneasy. It makes that panic meter that we talked about rise a little bit. The mercury is rising in the panic meter.
So Night Trek asked what happened to Gomez. Gomez is actually still on international duty. I don't know how many more games he has left, but I mean he's going to be an integral part of our midfield as well, because he is more of that enforcer, defensive minded kind of midfielder as well. So.
And he's done well. He's
done very well, and he's actually done well in the attack in international duty. He's scored some goals. He's made his presence felt over there. So it's another piece that's going to come back to our team here, and it's going to be interesting to see what Tata does. It's going to have, like David said multiple times, that midfield is very very cluttered in there. So
is he playing for the true team, or is he playing for the under 21s?
It's for the Olympics, I believe. It's in Olympic matches.
But is he playing for for the national team, or is he playing for the national under
I think
21?
it's the national team. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the national team for the Olympic squad for this year's Olympic.
Suzanne Hammer says it's under 23, which it's
that's
not,
a different
not as impressive that he's dominating, but it's still nice that he's
still
not
good. It's still good.
At least
it's still good experience, though, regardless if it is
scoring goals. He wasn't scoring goals here, so might as well score goals there. You know,
just getting a rhythm. That's all we like. That's what
which he was in last year.
Bringing it back to the Hong Kong game, like that's what was to me so good about this game is that these guys are getting in a rhythm, seeing the ball hit the back of the net. Like the broadcast, I think even said that these guys looked just happy finally. Like they felt like this relief, this weight had lifted off. Like they were able to actually enjoy the game and interplay. And there's a lot of pressure on this preseason like tour. Like it's just been a showcase that we've fallen flat and well short of the expectations on. So to at least be able to put up a couple goals, you know, all we talk about is how the defense stinks and the offense should be super potent. But to this point, it hasn't been. So they're able to get the monkey off their back, see the ball hit the back of the net a number of times. And to me, like that's my biggest takeaway from this game. It's like I fully expected them to win this match. Although granted, I expected them to win against Al Nassr as well. But like truly I expected them to win this match just based on who we were playing. But also like these guys hadn't proven that they could go out and win a match, even if it is preseason. So to me, what you can take away from this match, no matter, you know, how you want to look at it, is that they finally got that over that like mental hurdle. And now they can just focus on just playing within the system that Tata is employing. And to me, that's the most important thing to take away from this match.
So how we now that we kind of tied the bow on that Hong Kong match, how are we feeling about Japan coming up? The Japanese Kobe, what is it? Kobe Vessel
Kobe.
Vessel Kobe. Yeah, Kobe.
And this is one of those things. Is like, are they going to play it? Because we heard how outraged the people were in Hong Kong. They were like, "Oh, we're just going to cancel the rest of the Asia tour altogether." If it's going to be played, if it is going to be played, is it going to be televised? Is it going to be streamed locally? Is it going to be streamed on Apple MLS Pass? I don't know. I know for a fact that they're going to play this match, but we're still waiting to see if it's going to be streamed on Apple MLS. I know it won't be streamed locally because apparently when they first negotiated this game, Japan didn't want this game to be televised. I guess they thought that they were going to get their teeth kicked in because this is also a preseason match, and they probably didn't want. They have a lot of hype coming now for the new. I think it's the J League. They have a lot of hype coming in for this season. So it's good that they'll have this caliber of an opponent coming in, but I don't know if they were ready to have to lose 8 or 6-0 like we just saw to Al Nassr. So hopefully we'll be able to get on MLS Pass, but right now, as of this recording, we checked and the match was not on there. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and maybe we'll be able to watch it. If not, we'll hopefully be able to see some highlights and some tape online.
Yeah, it was odd because this morning after I watched the replay, I wasn't up at 3:00 in the morning, but when I was going to log on to play the Hong Kong match, the Vissel Kobe match actually showed up first. So I was like, oh cool, it's already up there to click for the 4th for whatever day it was, the 7th. But then David was telling us, no, I heard it's not going to be on there. I'm like, no, I saw it this morning. I swear to you, I saw it. And then we went to check, sure thing, it wasn't on there. So something must have happened there that they said, oh, we're not going to stream this anymore. It's curious and interesting. Let's leave it at that.
Everybody's asking us about
the elephant in the room.
Yeah, but I mean, we kind of mentioned it to start. Maybe there's a few folks that hadn't heard it, which I think that's the first thing that David talked about and Chris talked about. But we can reiterate it. We all agree it was messed up. I mean, we kind of, Inter Miami fans, we were also impacted last year. The whole time that Messi was hurt in the actual regular season MLS games, we could, even the cup, the final cup that I went to, and I thought he was gonna play, and then Julio texted me. sorry to tell you, but he doesn't look like he's gonna play. I was literally on my way. It was a 45-minute drive because it's so far in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I totally understand Hong Kong being upset, all those fans being upset because they're they go to see this guy. Everyone goes to see this guy. They're excited to see Messi play, and then when he goes to play, it's one of those things that you really, it's one of those things that, like, you want to see this guy play, and then they're hyping, they're putting him all over the billboards, all over town. They're showing the big four, and they're playing. Luis Suarez didn't play, and Messi didn't play. That's messed up. That's messed up. You could have
we
literally
become
done what they did the game before that. What they did in the game before that was they put him in for 10 minutes. It would have made people happy.
we become repeat offenders at this now, and that's again we're on international. We're on a
classless. It's
we're on an
classless.
international world tour. We're showcasing this team. If he's hurt, trot him out there for the last 2 minutes, get a curtain call, whatever. It doesn't matter, but you have to at least show face. The whole point of this tour is to showcase this club and to a lesser extent showcase the MLS as this power, this power league in the world, and it's just looked really, really bad for Inter Miami, and it's looking really bad for the MLS, and we're getting such bad blowback now that you're seeing it from every outlet, all the other teams. People are just sick and tired of Inter Miami talk. They feel like everybody's shoving Inter Miami down their throat, and they're not producing to the level that talk is required to have. So it's really hurting the club, and it's like I did mention this at the beginning of the show that it's really, I think, having the opposite effect of what this world tour was supposed to be. I understand players get hurt, but when you have all this propaganda to just sell the team, to sell these games around these top four players, you owe it to the fans to at least put them out there for a little bit, or give them some kind of advance notice that this might not happen. Julio called it. We said it in before the Al Nassr match. Julio said that he would not be surprised if Messi didn't play at all in these matches. But that's Julio saying it on the Heron Heads podcast. That's not an official source from the club. The club needs to be able to kind of mail some of these messages to the people and the promoters, because I'm hearing that a big issue with the Hong Kong match is that the promoter worked directly with the Chinese government, and the Chinese government subsidized the promoter, and it was supposed to be clear and obvious that Messi was supposed to be playing. So now that Messi didn't play, now that promoter has an issue with the Chinese government. So that's an issue. And again, if the club knows something's up, they kind of owe it to at least the promoter to say something, because they were left with their pants down after the match, and you saw how the fans reacted, and those fans paid a lot of money to go to that match.
So that's right there. What you just said is something I was going to touch on. This is a preseason match, and they're charging absurd amount of money for this. I get it; they're doing this tour to make money, to get their brand out there. But the fact that you're charging an absurd amount of money to maybe trot Messi out there, and
Guys,
I think it's just
the
ugly.
practice. The practice.
The practice sold out.
You gotta give
Crazy.
these guys something, man.
Crazy. So yeah, I mean, this amount of money that they're charging for these things, it just makes it uglier than what it already looks. At least if you were charging a lesser price and say, hey, maybe Messi's gonna be out there or whatever, it won't hurt as much. But if you're charging $500 or whatever it was, I don't know the Hong Kong prices were, but whatever you're charging, if you're charging that, it's gonna hurt people even more, because right there you're hitting them personally in their pocket. So it just adds another little wrinkle to all of this. It just doesn't look good.
Chow's right about that. The guy on the mountain, he's the one that knew. He was just sitting there, just watching the game, just from a nice distance for free. I don't know if he's with his child. I couldn't tell, but he looked happy. You know what I mean? And then I bet when Messi didn't play, he was like, suckers.
One last comment on this topic from my side. Chow mentioned it earlier that they should have really just play these guys like 15 to 25 minutes per match. I totally agree. Like the amount of matches, as soon as they announced all these preseason matches, we said, like, that's a lot of games to be playing in a really short amount of time. They really should have rotated these guys more, because if we are contractually obligated for some of these players to play, if, you know, we want to be like this marketing machine and trot these guys out every single match, they should have managed the minutes way better. And I don't know if that's from Tata. I don't know if it's from above Tata, but to me, it's kind of personnel mismanagement. I know for Suarez specifically, he took a really hard tackle at the end or towards the end of last match, so I'm not surprised
he was warming up though. Suarez was warming up. It looked like he was going to get into the game. It ended up the way it just worked out at the end. They just weren't able to get him in there, which was interesting to me. I was like, man, so he's going to play all, like, wow, like, just bring him in at the same time for like 5 minutes. I don't understand. Just do it.
Yeah, but that's how they should have looked at every match, in my opinion.
The problem, though, that I see with that, Julio, the 20, 25 minutes or whatever, is that also you're preparing for your regular season matches.
Play them 45 minutes.
Well, yeah. My point was that they need to be out there together for a decent amount of time. So I'm not a coach. What's better? Have them out there for 60 to 90 minutes, or have them and then rest one match after or whatever, or have them out there every single match for 25 to 30 minutes. You know, like, again, I'm not a coach. That's not my decision, but I think that's really where you have to look at what's best for your team and your team's chemistry. And you know, working, there's a few new players on there. They have to get a lot of playing time together. And at the end of the day, you want to be ready for that game one against Real Salt Lake. So it's a weird.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I think they really wanted to win one of those Saudi matches. I really do think that was something that they came into this tour saying, we want to take one from Saudi. We want to be able to beat Al Hilal, best team. I think that's something that they absolutely wanted to come away with. And once that didn't happen, you can see the wheels kind of fall off. So,
all right, guys. Well, Jose has notified me that he needs to use the restroom, so we're gonna call it here because I don't think there's too much more to add. We will be doing a reaction.
He forgot his diaper today, everybody.
We'll
so sorry.
Doing a reaction to the Kobe Wednesday evening, and then you know, from there we'll be doing our normal previews and reactions. But
guys, one thing I want to say before
Julio,
sorry, but I have to say one more thing. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Go follow us. All right, there's a lot of good stuff. We're retweeting original content and stuff. So go follow us at the Heron Heads and help us out there too. Get our stuff out there because we show some funny stuff. We show some good information. So just get out there. I just had to throw that in there.
And make sure to like all the videos. I know Julio said at the beginning of the show, but the likes really do make a big difference. So thank you for every single view and every single like.
Yes, and thank you to everyone that joined us in the live. The chat was very lively today. It's always so nice to see people chatting and giving us things to talk about. So really, thank you guys for joining us. And as always, make sure to follow the Heron Heads, and we'll see you guys later.